Last night, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert turned into a chaotic crucible when Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General and fierce Trump loyalist, was kicked off the set and broke down crying on live TV after a blistering confrontation with Stephen Colbert that left viewers stunned, social media erupting, late-night TV shaken to its core. Sources say what started as a charged interview, with Bondi defending her legal legacy, quickly spiraled into a fiery clash, with Colbert's sharp jabs driving her to tears, an exit nobody saw coming. Before we unpack this wild ride, drop a comment with where you're watching from, hit subscribe for more jaw-dropping tales like this. Bondi, known for her steely resolve, her Trump ties, strode onto the set with confidence, ready to tout her record, her loyalty, but Colbert wasn't. In the mood for softball, opening with a cutting quip, "Pam, you're here to defend justice, or just Donald's playbook?" The barb, dripping with bite, landed hard, and insiders say the audience felt it. Some laughing, others tensing, as Bondi smirked, "I'm here for truth, Stephen, not your cheap shots." The sparks ignited fast. Colbert rolled a clip of Bondi at a Trump rally, praising his leadership, her tone fierce, unwavering. "That's classic Pam," Colbert said, grinning. "But is it law or just blind allegiance?" Bondi fired back, her voice steady. "It's law and loyalty, Stephen. I've fought real battles. You sling jokes." The crowd splitting, some cheering, others jeering, as producers watched, sensing the segment veering off script, trouble brewing early. Sources say the room shifted, Bondi's poise held. But Colbert's eyes glinted. He saw a crack, the night ready to catch fire. What's got everyone talking isn't just the kickoff, it's how fast it turned raw. Bondi refused to be the easy mark, leaning in. "You don't know my stakes, Stephen. I've stood for something. You stand for laughs." And Colbert struck. "Stakes? You're standing on quicksand, Pam. I'll prove it." His jab personal, piercing. The crowd gasped, some shouted, others filmed, as the clash took a tense turn, with Bondi's jaw tightening, Colbert's grin widening. The stage set for a confrontation that would end in tears, a kickout, the heat just beginning to rise. The fiery clash on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night roared into a searing showdown as Stephen Colbert, his wit a sharpened tool, began unraveling Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General and Trump stalwart, with a barrage of jabs that turned a tense interview into a blistering battle, leaving the studio charged. Producers rattled, the road to Bondi's tears, her ejection starting to take shape. Sources say after Bondi claimed she stood for something, dismissing Colbert's laughs, the host fired back with precision, stoking a fire that's already blazing online. Colbert, his smirk tightening, zeroed in on Bondi's record. "Quicksand. Pam? Your AG days sank in scandals." His voice edged with mockery, as he played a clip of old headlines, fraud probes swirling around her tenure. The crowd reacting fast, some chuckling, others murmuring, while Bondi's face stiffened. "That's old noise, Stephen. I fought for justice. You twist it." Her retort firm, sharp, drawing cheers, boos from the divided audience, the tensions thickening with every exchange. The host pressed harder. "Justice? Or favors, Pam? Trump's your shield, not the law," sources say. Bondi's eyes narrowed, her voice rising. "I've served the law, Stephen. Trump's my ally. You're the one shielding lies." The comeback bold, steady, the crowd erupting, some shouting, "Pam's right," others laughing as producers whispered, "She's holding," their headsets humming, the segment slipping from its smooth start, friction mounting. Colbert grinned. "Lies? I'm the mirror, Pam, reflecting your cracks." His jab slicing, personal, testing her grip. What fueled the blaze wasn't just the words, it was Bondi's defiance. Insiders report she leaned forward. "You mock my service, Stephen. I've battled real stakes, you've battled ratings. her tone raw, resolute. And Colbert struck back. Stakes? You're trembling, Pam. Loyalty doesn't win. Pointing at her tense hands, the audience splitting wider, some chanting, Colbert, Colbert, others jeering with phones filming, X-posts surging. Bondi's heated, one read, racking up likes as the clash grew fiercer, the stakes climbing higher. The studio pulsed with energy. Sources say Bondi's grip tightened on the chair. I'm not your punching bag, Stephen. I'll stand tall. Her voice loud, quivering slightly. And Colbert pounced, Stand tall? You're shaking, Pam, cracking under my lights. His words pointed, cutting, the crowd roaring, some standing, others yelling, while producers signaled a break, their hands waving. But Bondi pushed over. I'm not cracking. You're a fraud. Her defiance wobbling, the chaos swelling with insiders noting. She's fraying, the night charging toward a tearful, fiery peak. Colbert's push unrelenting. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert erupted into a relentless storm last night as Stephen Colbert, his sarcasm a razor, drove Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General and Trump defender, toward an emotional brink with a fierce onslaught that turned a heated clash into a raw breaking point, leaving the studio tense, the audience fractured, the path to Bondi's tears, her ejection growing stark, inevitable. Sources say Bondi's trembling defiance after calling Colbert a fraud only fueled the host's attack, with the confrontation escalating into a public unraveling that's now gripping every platform. Colbert, his grin chilling, sharpened his assault. Cracking, Pam. Your loyalty's crumbling. Just a Trump pawn. His voice biting, mocking, as he flashed a montage, Bondi at Trump's side, nodding through his rants. The crowd reacting hard, some laughing, others gasping, while Bondi's jaw clenched. I'm no pawn, Stephen. I've got steel, you've got snark. Her voice loud, straining, the audience splitting, cheers clashing with boos, as producers watched, hands twitching, the live feed holding, tension soaring. The host dug deeper. Steel? You're shaking, Pam. Trump's puppet strings are showing. His jab, vicious, personal. And Bondi snapped back, I'm my own woman, Stephen. I'm not a puppet. You're the clown. Her words fierce, trembling, the crowd surging, some shouting, Go Pam! Others jeering, with phones filming, X-posts exploding. Bondi's shaky, one read, trending fast. Colbert grinned. Clown? I'm not the one sweating, Pam. Your armor's rusting, pointing at her flushed face, the audience roaring, some chanting, Break her! Others pleading, Ease up! As the chaos swelled. What turned the heat into an inferno wasn't just the insults. It was Bondi's fraying hold. Insiders say she stood, leaning in. You don't know my fight, Stephen. I've carried justice. You carry jokes. Her tone raw, breaking, and Colbert fired back. Carried? You're buckling, Pam. Tears are your next case. His taunt ruthless, the crowd splitting wider, some rushing the stage edge, others yelling with clips hitting X. Bondi's losing it, racking up shares, as Bondi shouted, I'm not buckling, I'll bury you. Her voice cracking, hands slamming the desk, the room igniting. The studio became a pressure cooker. Sources report producers signaled security, their voices urgent. She's close. But Bondi pressed on. You're nothing, Stephen. I'm the real deal. Her defiance wobbling, sweat beading as Colbert stood. Real deal? You're a real mess, Pam. Breaking live, his command sharp, piercing. The crowd erupting, some tossing cups, others live streaming, while Bondi roared, I'm not breaking, you're finished, her voice shaking, eyes glistening. The clash, peaking with insiders noting, tears are near. The night hurtling toward a sobbing collapse. Colbert's pressure unyielding. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert hit its explosive zenith last night as Stephen Colbert, his wit a brutal sledgehammer, drove Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General and Trump ally, to a sobbing collapse on live TV, a heated clash erupting into a shattering spectacle that left the studio in chaos. Viewers stunned, the internet a wildfire of reaction. Sources say Bondi's crumbling defiance, after vowing Colbert was finished, met the host's final, crushing blow, sparking tears that marked her breaking. The night's peak a raw, emotional implosion. Colbert, his smirk icy, landed the decisive strike. "Breaking, Pam? Your steel's rust. Tears are all you've got." His voice sharp, cruel, as he flashed a mock reel. Bondi defending Trump amid legal storms, her image tied to his chaos. The crowd reacting hard, some laughing, others gasping, while Bondi's face twisted. "I'm not breaking, Stephen. I'm tougher than this." Her voice loud, fracturing, the audience surging, cheers clashing with boos. As producers watched, hands frozen, the live feed holding, chaos exploding. The host pressed the wound. "Tougher? You're crying, Pam. We see it live." His jab vicious, final, and Bondi tried to rally. "I'm not crying, I've fought harder. You're nothing." Her words desperate, eyes glistening with Colbert, pouncing. "Nothing? You're sobbing, Pam. Your fight's a myth," pointing at her wet face. The crowd roaring, some chanting, "Cry, cry," others shouting, "Stop it," as phones filmed, X-posts surging. "Bondi's done," one read. Trending fast. Bondi's voice broke. "I've carried justice." Her hands slamming the desk, tears spilling, a hush cutting through. The breakdown floored the room. Insiders say Bondi swiped at her eyes. "I'm not crying for you. It's for them." Her denial choked, raw, as tears streamed while Colbert leaned in. "Them? You're weeping for yourself, Pam. Shattered here." His taunt merciless, the audience surging, some standing, filming, others yelling, with clips hitting X instantly. "Bondi sobs live," one read, racking up shares, another showing her tears. "Colbert wins," going viral, millions watching. Bondi sobbed, "You're heartless. I'm real." Her voice shattering, fists pounding, but the tears overwhelmed, her strength gone. What sealed the collapse was Bondi's unraveling. Sources report she stood, reeling. "I can't take this. You're vile." Her voice a mix of rage, sobs, as she ripped off her mic, hurling it, the crash resounding, while Colbert laughed. "Vile? You're the wreck, Pam. Get out." His words brutal, final. The crowd erupting, some rushing the stage, others chanting, "Kick her!" as security lunged, grabbing Bondi, who thrashed, "Let me go. I'll walk." Her tears flowing, the chaos peaking, with insiders saying, "She's broken." The night hurtling toward her ejection. Colbert's triumph absolute. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert plunged into sheer bedlam last night as Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General, was kicked off the set. Her tear-streaked face a wreck after Stephen Colbert's brutal clash left her sobbing. "Let me go, I'll walk." Security dragging her from the stage, leaving the studio in upheaval. Viewers agape, the internet ablaze with the fallout of a confrontation that broke her live on air. Sources say Bondi's thrashing, tearful exit after calling Colbert vile sealed her defeat, with the host's triumph ringing, the night's chaos hitting a shattering crescendo. Bondi, tears pouring, broke free from security's hold. I'll walk," her voice a ragged sob, staggering toward the exit, her composure gone, suit askew, as Colbert stood, arms crossed. "Get out, Pam. You're a crying mess." His taunt cold, victorious, the crowd roaring, some cheering. "Out, out," others gasping. "No, Pam," while security trailed, hands hovering, unable to stop her lurching retreat. The live feed capturing every shaky step, her figure vanishing. Into the wings, a sobbing shadow under the studio lights. The audience went wild. Insiders say some surged forward, phones flashing, filming Bondi's tearful departure. Others pounded seats, shouting, "She's gone," while a few cried support. "Stay strong, Pam." The room a clash of noise, with producers stunned, their headsets buzzing. "She's off. Keep it live," one stammered. The broadcast holding showing the empty desk where Bondi once sat, now a monument to her ruin. Colbert leaned in. "That's the Bondi exit, folks, tears and all." His voice dripping mockery, sparking roars, laughter, as chaos reigned. Some tossing cups, others live streaming. The energy untamed, electric. What turned this moment into a spectacle wasn't just the tears. It was Bondi's disintegration. Sources report her last gasp. "I'll rise," choked out as she faded, barely audible, her grit drowned in sobs, while Colbert waved, "Rise! You sank, Pam, drowned in my spotlight." His final barb ruthless, the crowd splitting wider, cheers crashing against boos, with X exploding, clips of Bondi's sobbing stumble trending. "She's toast," one post read, racking up shares. Another of her mic toss, Colbert kicked her, going viral, millions watching the wreckage loop. Insiders say producers debated cutting, but the ratings spike screamed gold, the chaos too raw to halt. The immediate aftermath landed hard. Bondi's team scrambled backstage. Sources hint she collapsed into a chair, sobbing, "He's a beast," her voice a tear-choked rasp, aides rushing to shield her, while Colbert strutted. "That's how you boot a loyalist," he quipped to the crowd, their cheers deafening, some surging the stage, others filming. As security cleared the wings, the night's end a smoldering ruin. Online the tide turned fast. Bondi crushed, one thread read, "Colbert's savage." Another claimed, with analysts noting, "He broke her live." The host's win locked, the fallout poised to roar on, a tempest just beginning. The fallout from Pam Bondi's tearful ejection from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night has unleashed a tidal wave of reaction, with the former Florida Attorney General's sobbing collapse after a brutal clash that ended with her kicked off the set. "He's a beast," echoing backstage, turning a live TV showdown into a national obsession, leaving Bondi's reputation reeling, Colbert's reign solidified. The internet, airwaves buzzing with takes that won't fade. Sources say what started as a bold defense ended with Bondi in tears, her exit a viral monument, the clash's ripples shaking everything in its wake. Bondi's backstage breakdown hit like a thunderclap. Insiders report she slumped into a chair, tears streaming. "He's a beast," her voice a broken rasp, aides hustling her out as cameras swarmed, while X erupted, her tweet, "I'll stand again," posted hours later, pulling 80,000 likes, but swamped by replies. "You fell, Pam," one read, trending fast, with clips of her sobbing exit, Mike, toss looping millions of times. "Bondi booted," a viral thread claimed. Memes of her tearful retreat captioned, "Trump's soldier sinks," flooding TikTok, Instagram. Supporters rallied. "She's real, he's cruel," one post begged. But the tide surged, her steel image fractured. Colbert's camp basked in the victory. Sources say his next show opened with, "We had a loyalist. She brought tears. I brought the boot." His quip smug, triumphant, pulling record ratings, a 50% spike, snagging viewers hooked on the chaos, while insiders hint he's crowing. "Bondi thought she'd fight. I sent her packing." His team buzzing, eyeing more bold strikes, with analysts noting, "He crushed it," though some whisper, "He's a target now." The win edged with risk. The crowd's cheers lingered. Colbert rules, echoing online, locking his dominance tighter. The internet split like a fault line. Bondi's base mourned. They ambushed her, she's gold, one ex-post read, racking up shares while critics feasted. Crybaby AG, another hit viral status, with debates raging. Was it fair? Trending, clips of her sobs dissected. She cracked, one pundit said. Colbert played her perfect. Another added, predicting a Trump camp uproar. Her legacy bruised, allies fuming. Sources say Bondi's hold up, reeling with talk of a counterstrike, maybe a rival hit. Her silence loud, the tears a wound that's festering. The ripple effects are massive. Late nights shaken. Experts call it a pivot. Colbert rewrote the game or smashed it, one said. Networks weighing riskier guests or tighter control, risking fade if they misstep, while viewers divide, half cheer. He fell to Titan, half cringe. Too harsh. The clash a cultural scar. Bondi's ruin. Colbert's peak, carved in viral lore. This isn't over. It's a fuse. Bondi's comeback, Colbert's next move, set to ignite. So stay with us. If you're hooked on this madness, smash that subscribe button now. Don't miss the next blaze.